In the world of ancient Rome, power was a game only the boldest could play, and only the strongest could win. From fearless legionaries on the battlefield to the ultimate authority of the emperor, these positions weren't just jobs, they were stepping stones to immortality. Today, we're diving into the incredible political structure that built one of the greatest empires in human history. At the heart of Rome's greatness was its complex political structure, each role demanding the best from its holder. But who exactly were these people that kept the empire standing tall for centuries? Meet the warriors, the statesmen, and the rulers who defined the course of Rome. And in some cases, the world itself. Let's begin our journey with the soldiers who held the line, fighting for the very survival of Rome, the legionaries. These were the backbone of the Roman military, the foot soldiers who faced death on the front lines, common soldiers of the Roman legions, primarily made up of Roman citizens. While not a political class, they held significant influence, particularly during times of military rule. One legionary in particular became a symbol of courage. Gaius Crastinus. During the pivotal Battle of Pharsalus in 48 BCE, where Julius Caesar squared off against Pompey, Gaius Crastinus wasn't just any soldier. He was the man who promised his fellow warriors victory, proclaiming, "Follow me, and Caesar will owe you all his gratitude." Charging into battle, Crastinus sacrificed his life, helping to turn the tide in Caesar's favor. His selflessness represents the true warrior spirit of the Roman legionary, loyal to the very end. From the ranks of the army, we move to the equites, the Roman knights, the wealthy and influential class of Roman citizens, typically involved in business, tax collection, and administration. They often served as officers in the Roman army or filled administrative positions within the empire. One of the most famous equites was Marcus Vipsanius Agrippa, the man who secured the Roman Empire's fate at the Battle of Actium. Agrippa, a close ally of Augustus, led the naval forces that crushed the fleets of Mark Antony and Cleopatra. With this victory, Agrippa not only helped Augustus become Rome's first emperor, but also ensured the survival of the Roman Empire itself. His tactical brilliance made him one of the greatest military minds of his era. Now we shift to the duoviri, the two-man magistrates responsible for local governance in Roman cities. Duoviri, the magistrates who served as judges and officials in smaller Roman towns and provinces. They are officials also in charge of public buildings, festivals, markets, and the grain supply. Lucius and Gaius Vibius were two such men governing Pompeii before its tragic end. The Vibius brothers oversaw the beautification and construction of key public works in Pompeii. Under their leadership, Pompeii thrived as a bustling, cultured city, until the fateful eruption of Mount Vesuvius buried it under ash. But the brothers' contributions lived on, as archaeologists discovered their legacy in the ruins they helped build. Next up are the champions of the common people, the tribunes of the plebs, elected representatives of the plebeians, with the power to veto legislation and protect the interests of the common people. They held sacrosanct status, meaning they were protected from physical harm. One of the most famous tribunes was Tiberius Gracchus, whose push for reform nearly tore Rome apart. In 133 BC, Gracchus fought for land reforms, seeking to redistribute property to Rome's poor. His boldness rattled the Senate, and his efforts to bypass them for the sake of the people led to his untimely assassination. On the day of his assassination, as Tiberius was addressing a crowd at the Capitoline Hill, Nasica and a group of senators gathered a mob to confront him. In the ensuing chaos, the mob, armed with makeshift weapons such as wooden clubs and broken benches, attacked Tiberius and his followers. He was bludgeoned to death, along with around 300 of his supporters. Tiberius's body was later thrown into the Tiber River, signaling the violent end of his reformist efforts. But his fight for the plebeian cause made him a symbol of Roman reform, and his legacy echoed through history as a champion of the underprivileged. Let's turn now to the quaestors, financial officers responsible for managing Rome's finances and public treasury. Known as magistrates, responsible for financial administration, particularly in managing state treasury and military finances, often assigned to assist governors in the provinces. One quaestor stood out not just for his financial acumen, but for his integrity, Marcus Tullius Cicero. While serving as quaestor in Sicily, Cicero prosecuted the corrupt governor Gaius Verus. His success in bringing justice to the oppressed Sicilians won him widespread acclaim and launched a career that would make him one of Rome's most famous orators and statesmen. If you're greatly inspired by the knowledge of these stories, hit that like and subscribe button and share your thoughts on the incredible roles that shaped history. Let's continue. The aediles, public officials responsible for maintaining public buildings, organizing games and festivals, and overseeing the grain supply, had a direct hand in keeping the citizens happy and entertained. They have limited judicial authority. And one man, before becoming a legend, held this role and used this office to climb Rome's political ladder, Julius Caesar. As aedile in 65 BC, Caesar organized some of the most extravagant games Rome had ever seen, nearly bankrupting himself in the process. But the spectacle won him the hearts of the people, setting him on a course to become one of Rome's most powerful and influential leaders. Now to the Roman praetors, Rome's judicial authorities and military commanders. One well-known praetor during his time was Publius Cornelius Scipio Africanus, the man who would later defeat Hannibal and begin his rise to greatness as a praetor. In 213 BC, Scipio was sent to defend Sicily during the Second Punic War. His efforts laid the groundwork for his future victory at Zama, where he decisively ended the threat of Carthage and cemented his name as one of Rome's greatest generals. The Roman proconsuls, governors of senatorial provinces, often former consuls, tasked with governing provinces and commanding armies. When we think of provincial governors or proconsuls, one name that often comes to mind is Pontius Pilate. Though he is most famous for presiding over the trial of Jesus Christ, Pilate governed Judea during a turbulent time. He navigated a complex political landscape and maintained Roman authority in the region, albeit with a legacy that history remembers with mixed emotions. The Roman consul, the highest-ranking elected official in the Roman Republic, usually two were elected annually. Consuls had significant military, judicial, and administrative powers, overseeing the Senate and the army. They remained prestigious, but with reduced power under the emperor. Marcus Atilius Regulus, a consul during the First Punic War, became a symbol of Roman duty and honor. Captured by Carthage, Regulus was sent to negotiate peace, but urged the Senate to refuse their terms, knowing it meant his own death. His death is recounted in Roman legend as brutal and torturous. It is said that the Carthaginians, enraged by his actions, subjected him to extreme torment, including confining him in a barrel with nails or exposing him to the harsh sun without sleep. His unwavering sense of duty to Rome, even at the cost of his life, became legendary. The Roman senators, the members of the Roman Senate, the most powerful political body in the Roman Republic. They were the elite policymakers, advised magistrates, controlled public finances, and oversaw foreign policy. While less powerful under the empire, the Senate still played an advisory role. Cato the Elder, a senator, was a fierce advocate for Roman traditionalism. Cato's constant calls for the destruction of Carthage eventually paid off when Rome obliterated the city in 146 BC. His relentless dedication to preserving Roman values made him a model of conservative patriotism. We arrive at the role of the censor, a position dedicated to safeguarding Roman morality and maintaining the Senate's integrity. They are senior magistrates elected every 5 years. They had the power and authority to appoint and remove senators. Appius Claudius Caecus, censor in 312 BC, left a lasting legacy through his ambitious infrastructure projects. He built the Via Appia, Rome's first major road, and the Aqua Appia, its very first aqueduct. Despite facing opposition from the aristocracy, Claudius' contributions revolutionized Rome's infrastructure and solidified his place in history. And finally, the Roman Emperor, the supreme ruler of Rome during the Roman Empire, holding absolute authority over the military, government, and religious matters. The emperor held titles such as Princeps, the first citizen, and Imperator, commander, and was often deified after death. One very well-known emperor was Constantine the Great. Constantine's reign had profound religious, military, and administrative impacts on the Roman Empire. Constantine is best known for his Edict of Milan in 313 CE, which granted religious tolerance to Christians and allowed Christianity to flourish. He was the first Roman emperor to convert to Christianity, and under his rule, it transitioned from a persecuted minority religion to the empire's dominant faith. Constantine relocated the capital of the Roman Empire from Rome to Byzantium, later named Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul. This city would become the heart of the Eastern Roman Empire, Byzantine Empire, for over 1,000 years. From legionaries to emperors, these remarkable individuals didn't just hold power, they defined it. Their stories remind us that leadership, bravery, and vision can shape the destiny of entire civilizations. And though the Roman Empire may have fallen, the legacy of these figures still stands tall, inspiring us to this day. If you want to explore more stories of ancient heroes and how their actions shaped the world we live in, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Dive deeper into the history of Rome and beyond, and discover the warriors, leaders, and legends who left their mark on history. If you are interested in finding out the Roman units behind the Roman legion, then please click this video.